Welcome to another Women of the Channel Community Spotlight. Today, I am excited to be joined by Dr. Kelsey Morgan, CEO and co founder of EverFree. For nearly a decade, Women of the Channel and EverFree have partnered to turn connection into impact, bringing our community together to support survivors, raise awareness, and help create lasting freedom around the world. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's such an honor to be here. We are absolutely thrilled about our partnership with Women of the Channel and have been for years. You all have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. You've changed so many lives and you've helped really expand our brand and our impact, getting us into companies within the channel and opening up so many doors for us. We're just so thrilled and so grateful.
Believe me, that partnership means the world to us as well. And just as you said, our community has supported Everfree through our events over the years, but they may not know the personal story behind the organization. So I'd love to start with you. How did you personally get involved with this work, and what inspired you to dedicate your career to helping survivors and preventing exploitation?
Yeah, thank you. So happy to have an opportunity to share and to go deeper with you all. It all, when we go way back, it goes back to my mom. She is an incredible human and she was always opening up our home to individuals in our lives who were struggling. And so there was a specific story in high school of a girl that I had befriended who home was not safe for her. And she came and stayed with our family for about a year. And it wasn't actually until I had started Everfree that I started to connect the dots. But she had been experiencing exploitation and human trafficking in her home. We just didn't have language or an understanding of what it was back then. But right after high school, I traveled to Africa and was exposed to the realities of human trafficking in ways that I couldn't deny or ignore. And because I was 17 at the time, I had the opportunity to decide what I was going to do with my life. And it was the reality that women and girls were being forced into sexual exploitation that kept me up at night. And I said, I have to do something about this. And so I ended up pursuing my education in international studies. And right after college, I moved to Uganda, where I helped start a program supporting survivors, mainly children and adolescents who had been rescued from exploitation and human trafficking and needed support and care to heal from what they've been through and then go on to healthy lives where they're thriving back in communities, back in school, some of them going on to do incredible things with their careers.
Wow, that is so extraordinary for a 17-year-old to come to that realization and just know that this was something that you wanted to not only support, but build your life's work around it. You and I have spoken several times, and I didn't even know this background story. You're extraordinary.
Thank you, Jackie. I feel truly honored to get to do this work. I know many of us care so deeply about the biggest issues facing society today. And myself and our whole team, we feel honored that we get to do this with our careers and to get to bring folks like you into.
One of the things that I've always appreciated about Everfree is that you're not just raising awareness, but you've built innovative, survivor led solution designs to create that lasting change. For those that may be hearing about Everfree for the first time, can you give us a quick overview of the organization and what makes your approach unique?
Yes. Many of us, when we think about human trafficking, our minds go to that moment of rescue. So, a moment when someone is enslaved, is being exploited, and they get out. And that is an important moment in time, but it's only just that it's a moment in time. And I will never forget, I believe it was 2017 we received a phone call. One of the governments that we worked with, they had rescued 236 women and children in a human trafficking operation. And they didn't have any place to put them. And so they were all sleeping outdoors at the police headquarters. So exposed to the elements, exposed to the rain. And our team had to make the horrible decision of who got care and who didn't. We stretched our programs to serve as many as possible, but there were still many who were left behind. And so the team and I, after building really successful programs to help with healing and recovery, we asked ourselves, how can we do more? How can we change our model so that no one is left behind? And that forced us to zoom out of our own work and to look at the ecosystem supporting survivors of abuse, supporting survivors of exploitation more generally. And what we realized was that this model of one social worker to 25 people receiving care could never scale to meet the demand of care needed. When we look at the issue, over a billion people worldwide are experiencing abuse and exploitation as we speak. So that's child abuse, that's human trafficking, that's labor exploitation. These are huge numbers. And so to address them, we needed to start looking at the systems. And what we found is actually really exciting. And that is when a survivor leads their own journey. So when they're in the driver's seat of recovery, it actually changes everything. And it's so simple because all of us know in our personal lives that we don't like when someone tells us what to do. We're not going to engage in that, right? But when someone asks us what we need and then connects us with the right resources to meet those needs and those goals, that's when we thrive. And so we developed a technology platform that enables that way of working to be scaled not only in our own work, but then to organizations and agencies like government agencies all over the world. And the way it works is really simple. A survivor takes a look at their whole life, so their strengths and their vulnerabilities. They then use all of that data to have clarity around what they need at different moments of their healing journey. And then we train all of those providers to connect them to the right care. Super simple, but it's allowed us to scale from being an organization that reaches hundreds a year to an organization that reaches thousands. And now our big goal is to reach 1 million people by the year 2030.
Wow, that is extraordinary. So, partnerships, as we talked about, Women in the Channel has been a proud partner and so grateful to be a partner of EverFree since 2017, so almost a decade. How has collaboration with communities like ours helped advance your mission?
One of the things that's just so serendipitous is when we started partnering, Everfree had not even thought about technology as part of our mission. And that's one thing I think just being a part of the ecosystem helped us to think differently about how we could leverage technology to scale our work. So, one, just thanks for allowing us into this new space. It's been incredible for us. We've developed partnerships with technology companies that are helping us grow, that are helping one spread awareness and getting our mission out there. They're raising funds. We've had companies in the channel network who host webinars and do fundraisers throughout, say, like International Women's Day or Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So they're bringing this information to their companies and they're giving their companies opportunities for folks to engage. And that's looked like pro bono volunteering, skills based volunteering. It's looked like fundraisers. It's looked like spreading awareness of our brand and our work. And one of the great things about our team is that just like our work is an individualized basis, we want to work with partnerships and companies in a way that is also individualized. So, what are the unique skill sets and opportunities that you bring to this space? Everyone, every person, every company has something unique to offer. And we like to pair those unique offerings to create big impact.
Oh, I love that. So, let's talk about the positive changes you've seen since starting the program. Our community has participated in so many things from bracelet making activities to raffle for a cause. And it's been incredible to watch this partnership grow. What are some of the most meaningful changes you've seen, whether it be in survivors' lives, communities, or the broader movement to end exploitation since starting Everfree?
Yeah. So let's start with like the real human aspect of it. Everfree went from when we started working with you all, a really small nonprofit serving a couple hundred a year to now an organization reaching thousands of lives. And that doesn't just mean like, oh, hey, you attended a counseling session. These are truly lives transformed. These are individuals who came in needing healthcare, needing mental health care, needing support for economic and educational empowerment, needing connection to family and community. These are holistic needs that are met. And what we've seen is that when individuals go through our programs and those needs are met, they go on not just to have their own lives be transformed, but also their families are transformed. Cycles of abuse and exploitation are broken. And many of these women and girls go on to be leaders in their community. So they're going out there spreading awareness, they're supporting other survivors, they're launching programs themselves. It's this incredible ripple effect. So every single dollar that this community has raised has this exponential impact and ripple effect of human lives being touched. We've also seen this incredible scaling of our work. We've gone from one organization to now, I believe the current update the team gave me was 45 partnerships across 13 different countries. So we've gone from working in Uganda to now working in the US, across Asia, across Latin America, across Africa. So it's really scaling. And part of that, I think one is due to people know what human trafficking and exploitation is now. That's different than it was 10 years ago. That is companies like yours and like those included in this community who are giving platforms of awareness. So I used to have to get on stage and explain what human trafficking was. Now we can talk about even more important issues like how does healing happen? How do we move upstream to prevent trafficking? And that's one of the other exciting components of our work is our platform, our technology platform not only helps individuals access the care that they need, but we've actually expanded it beyond survival. And we're working with vulnerable populations to intervene before abuse happens. And prevention is one of the things that excites me and our team so much because that code hasn't been cracked until now. And I'll tell you just one short story that really
Yeah.
excited us about the impact of our model. So we have partners here in Southern California who use Freedom Life Map. Freedom Life Map is our technology platform. And one of the partners told us a story of a young girl in their program who was unstably housed. She was couch surfing when she came into their program. When she sat down with our model, with Freedom Life Map, she actually self identified that she was being trafficked. She wasn't able to put that experience into words until she took our assessment. And as a result of that, that organization was able to intervene much, much earlier, getting her the care and the right support that she needed in the community so that she could go on to get out of that exploitative situation and onto the right track before things got so, so bad for her. And as we do this more and more, we're able to intervene earlier and earlier before the abuse even happens.
Sometimes it's easier for people to understand and remember when there's a success story or an impact milestone that especially stands out when you think about how far the organization comes. And I feel like that story tells a lot right there. But if there is another one you would like to share, I want to give you space to do that.
Yeah, there's another story that really stands out to me because often we forget that in our social services, people are individuals who have distinct dreams, hopes for the future, and also vulnerabilities. And most of our systems aren't set up to address people as humans, as individuals. People are going through a one size fits all program. They're processed like a number on a piece of paper. And as a result, we see our rates of healing pretty low. And we see people just trapped in abuse, trapped in cycles of needing support and never able to launch and find the success and the dignity that they deserve. And we had one young woman who was trafficked. She was trafficked from East Africa to the Middle East. And when she came back into EverFree's programs, her social worker was looking at her life and she saw her health needs were pretty severe. She had experienced so much physical abuse through her human trafficking that she was hospitalized. Her mental health was also suffering. She had anxiety and depression. She had lost custody of her children and was trying to get her children back. She had lost her home and her land, and she had sold property, belongings for an opportunity that she thought was a job, which ended up to be trafficking. So you can imagine this is an overwhelming state. And so to sit down with the social worker and for either of them to know what the next step is is really hard when everything feels like an emergency. But with Everfree's model, we go through every area of your life in this really simple way, in a non judgmental way. And then we ask you what's needed next. And this individual's answer really surprised her caseworker because she didn't say health, she didn't say mental health, she didn't say a job, which is actually really common. We often hear a lot that people want a job. She wanted justice. She wanted her kids back and she wanted her trafficker held accountable so that they wouldn't traffic other people. And so we listened. We connected her to our legal aid program. We helped her through the court process. And when she got that victory, which is already just pause there, incredible, she stood before her trafficker in court and bravely told her story and got a conviction. But when this conviction happened, she had this like release to be able to work on the other areas of her life. Her mental health improved. Her health improved. She went to our vocational training program where she learned culinary arts and baking. She then opened up a bakery, which is thriving. She's hired other survivors to work in the bakery. She now is a survivor leader in her community. So she goes around educating the community on human trafficking. She serves as a mentor to survivors in our program. Her life just unlocked. But if we had said we know best what she needs and we had put her in the hospital for long periods of time and not pursued justice, had only done what we thought was best, I don't think she would have gotten to the place where she is today.
I love that you listened, gave her what she needed. It's the one thing I kept hearing through our conversation today is that there's no one size fits all. If we think about our own lives, we probably would see that. But these things that we kind of take for granted and don't think of made such an impact for her. And I love that this is a trickle down and in breaking cycles and educating others to help them see what she couldn't see through her own journey.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
that's amazing.
And what technology has enabled us to do is to take that way of working and package it so that any organization can do it. I love this quote that says if you want to teach people a new way of doing something, don't bother explaining it to them, give them a tool that makes that possible. And that's what Freedom Life Map is. We could go across trying to train until our mouths stop working and telling people this new way of doing, or we can put it into a tool that allows organizations across 13 countries to do the same things. And when we do, we see that survivors achieve goals at a 65% higher ratio than the old models of care. Organizations are serving 48% more people with the same resources, which is absolutely remarkable. So we're reaching more people and we're seeing their overall well-being improve 33% in just 12 months and their vulnerabilities cut in half. So we're reaching more people and we're doing so with care that's way more effective and it's costing less money.
That's amazing. Amazing. Okay. If there's one thing I love about community in general is that when you have a community of people, they understand a need and they genuinely want to help. So, if everyone watching today could take just one action this month to support Everfree's mission, what would you encourage them to do?
Can I say three?
Yes.
All right, let's
Yes.
start with one. If it's the one action, but then I'll give two bonus for the
I love it.
overachievers, which I'm sure there's a lot of
There
overachievers
are a few of
here.
us out there.
A few in this community. So one would be just sign up as a monthly donor of Everfree. You could do this at $5 a month. You have no idea how much impact that regular gift makes, and you will forget about it just like your Netflix subscription and every other subscription. But we won't let you forget about the impact that you're having. We will consistently update you on the lives that are being changed, on the survivors that are accessing care, on the lives transformed. So super simple. You just go to our website, you sign up as a reoccurring donor. If just a few of you do that, it creates this consistent donation revenue that means that we can reach more people. So that's number one. Number two, let's continue to spread awareness. We need more people to know how many women and girls and children are experiencing abuse. And we need to start making action towards creating a world where that isn't so a part of our everyday lives. And that can be as simple as a LinkedIn post, share about Everfree, share about what you've learned in this, spread the word. Lastly, and so many of you have done this and it's been incredibly impactful, connect us to your company. So many of your companies have incredible ESGs that they're working on. You have social impact work. We need technology donated. We need skills based volunteers. We'd love to take some of you on a trip with us to Uganda or to the Philippines. There are so many ways your company can get involved, whether that's financial donations or other ways. And just that simple step of introducing us to the person at the company who handles that can really be life changing for many.
Kelsey, thank you so much for sharing your story, your passion, and the incredible work that EverFree is doing around the world. On behalf of the Women of the Channel community, we are honored to continue that partnership with you and support a mission that creates real, lasting change. For everyone watching, if you'd like to learn more about Everfree, support their work, or get involved, we encourage you to visit the Everfree partner and follow their journey. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special Women of the Channel Community Spotlight, and we will see you next time.